Good evening, dear friends. This is Santa Claus coming to you on this January 23, 2026, with today's news from around our beautiful world. It's a bit chilly at the North Pole tonight, just as it is for many of you facing that winter storm across America's heartland. Speaking of which, a potent winter storm is currently making its way across the central and eastern United States, promising to bring snow, sleet, and ice to more than 30 states. My heart goes out to all the hardworking folks in transportation and shipping who are preparing for disruptions. Remember, in times like these, checking on neighbors and sharing warmth is what truly matters. The freezing temperatures remind us to care for one another, especially the elderly and vulnerable among us. Now, turning our gaze to Ukraine, where continued talks between Ukrainian and Russian negotiators are set to begin in Abu Dhabi. The territorial dispute remains at the heart of these discussions, with President Zelensky and President Putin holding firm to their positions. What saddens my old heart deeply is hearing about Ukraine nearing a humanitarian catastrophe after months of attacks on energy system. With temperatures plunging to -20 degrees, many Ukrainians only have power for 3-4 hours, followed by 10-15-hour breaks. Some apartment blocks have been without heat for weeks. Oh, my dear children of Ukraine, you remain in my prayers. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, President Trump has made comments about NATO's involvement in Afghanistan that have caused distress in the United Kingdom. Our British friends have reminded us that more than 150,000 of their troops served in Afghanistan, with 450 brave souls making the ultimate sacrifice. In times of remembrance, let us honor all who served with gratitude and respect. On this day in 1973, President Nixon announced an end to direct U.S. military involvement in Vietnam, though sadly, the conflict continued for 2 more years. History reminds us that the path to peace often requires patience and persistence. In other news, President Trump has spoken about Iran, mentioning a U.S. fleet heading in that direction. As tensions rise, we must pray for wisdom among leaders and for the safety of all people caught in difficult circumstances. In France, Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu's government has survived 2 votes of no confidence over the 2026 budget. The French people, like so many around the world, are seeking stable leadership during challenging economic times. Looking to Greenland, Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen has expressed openness to negotiating a better partnership with the United States, while emphasizing respect for territorial integrity and international law, principles that form the foundation of peaceful coexistence. With heavy heart, I must share troubling news from Uganda, where authorities have reportedly detained 2,000 opposition supporters following a disputed presidential election. Every child of God deserves dignity, fair treatment, and a voice in their governance. In Syria, government forces have taken control of prisons housing members of the Islamic State group after Kurdish fighters evacuated. May those responsible for maintaining security remember the humanity of all in their care. President Trump's Board of Peace initiative is creating both interest and hesitation among nations, with some European countries declining to join, while several Muslim-majority nations have agreed to participate. Whatever form international cooperation takes, may it truly serve the cause of peace. In Venezuela, lawmakers have given initial backing to opening the oil sector to private investors, a significant shift in policy that could change economic prospects for many Venezuelan families who have struggled for too long. On a lighter note, TikTok has established a majority American-owned joint venture to continue operating in the United States, allowing the platform that brings joy to many young people to avoid a potential ban. And finally, in Peru, President José Jerry faces scrutiny over undisclosed meetings with Chinese businessmen, adding to the political instability that has seen 7 presidents in the past decade. The good people of Peru, like all of God's children, deserve transparent and honest governance. As we close tonight's news, remember that even in times of difficulty, we must look for the light of hope. Check on your neighbors during the winter storms, extend compassion to those suffering in conflicts, and always believe in the power of kindness to transform our world. This is Santa Claus wishing you peace, warmth, and goodwill toward all. Good night.